Alright, last boxing video for the night. Still going hard in the paint. Hope you enjoyed all the boxing we talked about today. I feel a little bit invigorated to talk about boxing today. I'm feeling back in the groove. So let's get into it. Goodfellas Sports TV. Heard through the grapevine that on the televised portion of Wilder and Fury, the three major fighters that will be on that card will be Joyce, Luis Ortiz in two separate bouts. Ortiz got his way back on the card. And Jarrett Hurd. Those will be your three undercard televised fights. Those will be the A side, and the B sides are yet to be determined. I heard it was Joyce, Jarrett Washington. That might have flew out the window. But those are the three major bouts that's going to be on that card. I believe there may be a prelim card as well. Okay, because I understand that Rigan Dial and Chavez Jr. and Gulo is also supposed to be on that card. So, not sure about that, but these will be the three major fighters on the televised portion of the card. So there'll be three televised fights on Showtime pay-per-view, and it will include Jarrett Hurd, Joyce, Luis Ortiz, and two separate bouts. So you got two other heavyweights showcasing on the heavyweight main event. I think that's cool beans. I think that's really, really good to get Joyce and Luis Ortiz some exposure. But I'm definitely disappointed if this is factual, and I think it is factual. Because that means we're going to have three major A sides versus probably limited competition. And what can I say, man? I'd rather see Ortiz and, Joyce fight each other. That's nice on the card, but obviously, well, people that don't know, obviously, it's not obvious. But Joyce said he called out Luis Ortiz and said he wanted to get a rapport going with Abel Sanchez, then take out Luis Ortiz. I just hate for people to call people out. You don't have no intentions on fighting him next. Not even in the near future. I need you to fight him next. So, I don't know who Ortiz is going to fight. I mean, maybe Areola, because you want to keep the Hispanic thing going. You in L.A. You got Fury, who's from the UK. Wilder, who's from America with no ties out in L.A. So this would be one. I mean, you gonna have some Mexicans on there, so it might be an untelevised portion with Chavez and the Gulo fight, and Rigondeaux and him be on the untelevised portion. But I also don't want you guys to forget on Showtime, regular Showtime that same day, Alexander Gufic is taking on Adonis Stevenson, and very well you might get the best fight of the night on Showtime, regular Showtime with Stevenson and Gufic. That can perhaps be the best fight. I think that's an excellent fight between those two, and then the pay-per-view card will start after that, and then go on to pay-per-view. So I just want you to forget that, and I'm calling it. I'm saying Stevenson and Gufic is you're gonna get your best bang for your buck for your $14 or your $10 through the Amazon app for Showtime, or your $13 or $14 through your cable or satellite provider. You get your, I think you get your best bang for your buck for Stevenson and Gufic. But I'm not. I'm just tired. I'm tired of having superstars on one side of the card, and then all mismatches on the other side of the card. I'm tired of it, bro. This undercard has so much hype, so much traction, and it just immediately started to trickle off. Santa Cruz said, and Russell was supposed to fight in November. Cruz wanted to push it back to December. All of a sudden, they not gonna fight. So Santa Cruz wiggled himself out that fight. So be it, okay? Tank and Maraz, what happened with that? Gervonta Tank Davis kept getting in too much trouble. So he was out of shape, out of weight, so it sounded like they saved him from himself. And they move on. So they're moving on in January. Those are the two card fights that people want to see on the undercard. Steven Espinoza, I don't trust him. I don't like him. He's a weasel. People just think I'm pro PBC. I like what PBC is doing. I support a brother like Al Heyman. I support the brothers, but also support other fighters and other networks as well, too, as people don't understand. I like Isaac Dogbay. I think he's the most exciting pound-for-pound fighter out there, okay? I was a fan of Miguel Cotto, okay? Maybe he was on Top Rank or Golden Boy. It didn't matter. You know what I'm saying? I love Paul Williams. I think he was with Gary Shaw. It didn't matter. I love Dylan Alexander, one of my favorite fighters coming up at 140. He was with Don King. I loved him. Timothy Bradley, one of my favorite fighters. He was with Gary Shaw. It didn't really matter, okay? I'm going to call it how I see it. A lot of people are in their feelings, and I turned on Errol, and I don't give a hell. I call a spade, man. And this undercard looking light. Looking real light. Who Jarrett Hurd gonna fight, I don't know. It'd be nice to see him fight J-Rock. It'd be nice to see the Lara rematch on here, but he said he wanted to make sure his shoulder's good. He wanted to tune up versus 2 right-hand fighters before he take on Jamil Charlo. And it's just a lot of, before I just truly go in on this undercard and talk more about it, it's just a lot of posturing. It's a lot of tuning up. It's a lot of lying. I don't care what your reason is. If you're going to fight them, you're going to fight them. If not, we can move on. I like Hurd. I like Joyce. I really don't care for Ortiz because of his performance-enhancing drug background. He with Luis Coyote, and then he got cleared for the Wilder fight the second time. So, obviously, the best matchups off the top of my head for Joyce, the best possibility would probably be... if they can get Trevor Bryan on there, I would like that fight. His resume is abysmal. He lining up for a WBA regular title shot after Big Baby Miller, I would guess. But I would like Trevor Bryan. Jarrett Washington. Even though I heard he might not be fighting Joyce on his card. Brian Jennings will be beautiful versus Ortiz, the rematch, or Joyce, but he's with Top Rank. What about Derek Chisora? Bringing him over there to fight Luis Ortiz. Why not? And if by Luis Ortiz getting back on his card, this would mean that he is not in the running for Dillian White anymore, and Dillian White just chose to go another way with or without Derek Chisora pricing himself out. So that's what I like. I really like Trevor Bryan. I really like Brian Jennings for Joyce. Derek Chisora would be a good pick. Come over here and get some bread. I think those would be my first 3 picks. And for Laura Ortiz, obviously I would love Derek Chisora. Dominic Brazil will be coming back December 22nd. He has a mandatory, so he put down the line versus nobody. Brian Jennings, number 2 for Luis Ortiz, will be a good fight. Chris Arreola for Luis Ortiz or Joyce will be a straight fight. Just going down this list. And that's about it, that I know to the naked eye. And Adams Nowalki for Luis Ortiz or Joyce will be a solid fight as well. So, a lot of the common opponent, a lot of the fights I would like to see Joyce and Luis Ortiz in, they have a common opponents, okay? Let's talk about Jarrett Hurd and then we'll wrap it up. Like I said, Brian Carlos Castanos and J-Rock are 2 people he was considering tuning up against. Pretty sure they scaled it back. I think Carlos Castanos is going to fight Lara. Now, I know I heard Lara and J-Rock out there a while ago. Somebody reminded me of that. Honestly, I don't really know. I like Tony Harrison is going to be fighting Jamil. I don't know much about Dennis Hogan. Terrell Goucher, maybe Terrell Goucher versus Jarrett Hurd. That's a good one. I ain't going to say that's a good one. I just don't. I ain't gonna say it's a good one. Takashi Inuyuan, possibly. Curtis Stevens is out there, possibly. He's ranked at 54. Carlos Adames, he top ranked. He worked at 54. Michael Soro, who had a tough fight with Brian Carlos Castano, just came up short. That'll be a good fight. He already beat Austin Trout. Eric Salub, don't want no smoke. Sergio Garcia, I don't know who that is, but he ranked pretty high. So my ideal fight for Jarrett Hurd would probably be that's actually makeable for a tune-up. It'd probably be Michael Soar or J-Rock. Those would be my 2 ideal fights to see him fight on here. But obviously, so it's going to be an undercard that was pumped up by Steven Espinoza. Said they was going to soup it up. And obviously, they didn't soup it up. He lied. He's a weasel. He's a liar. He's a mark. All those adjectives. He's a punk. He's a liar. And it is what it is, man. And these are going to be your 3 A-sides to the Wilder Fury undercard. Look for them to finalize some things. I know Jarrett Hurd got some things in the work. Thanks to the Quarterman Radio. Shout out to him. Don't forget, we on Facebook. Want to make a donation? That link's there as well. Want to know where my intro music come from? That link's there as well. Email me or DM me on Facebook.